Hi everyone. I originally wasn't going to do a video today, but I had actually received an interesting email this morning from somebody asking me what type of people wear corsets. Initially, I was a little bit confused about that question because I don't usually think of a certain type of person wearing a corset. Rather, I think that anybody can wear a corset for certain types of reasons. And I want to address this in video form because it is one of my goals to sort of break through that stereotype that only certain people can wear corsets, and you give off a certain stereotype or generalization about yourself if you wear a corset. So this is going to be in three different parts. First of all, I'm going to be addressing the appearance of a person in a corset. I'm going to be addressing the actual physical feeling of being in a corset, and also the emotional and psychological effects of being in a corset. And I'll break those down into little sub-reasons. So the number one reason why a person might wear a corset is because it has the instant gratification that it makes your waist smaller and it makes you look slimmer today, right now. When you put on a corset, even if you haven't trained before, many people can get down at least 2 inches, and it immediately has a slimming effect on your body. The second reason is for people who actually do waist train over many months or many years for the purpose of making their waist permanently smaller by organ redistribution and reorganization of the fat pads in the abdomen. It also helps control how much food you take in, because obviously your stomach is going to be restricted in how much it can stretch. So it can be used as a weight loss aid, and it helps you get smaller over time. Then there are those who use corsets because it's necessary for a certain type of dress. For instance, if you are doing some sort of period plays or reenactments, or even if you cosplay, many people will use a corset as a foundation to get the right type of look. Obviously, if you're going to be doing some reenactment of Victorian or Edwardian period, you're going to need to wear a corset to fit into those vintage gowns. Also, if you are cosplaying, then many of those anime characters, manga characters, CG characters, what have you, they often have unrealistic figures. And if you want to have a very accurate cosplay, then you're going to have to alter your body in some way to make you look more cartoonish. This is actually one of the reasons why I started corseting, because when I was younger I played with a lot of Barbies, I watched a lot of really old movies, and I was obsessed with Disney princesses. And I was always striving to have ever a more feminine figure, and I guess some of that stayed in my mind as I grew older. So having a small waist makes me look and feel more elegant and more ladylike. There are some people who like the look of wearing hardware. Corsets that are made especially from leather, latex, PVC, especially if they're decorated with any sort of straps, rivets, spikes, buckles, anything of the sort, might give that final finishing touch on that really hardcore look they're going for. Some of these styles, they might include punk and steampunk, Victorian, goth, industrial, cyborg, also dominatrix types. It really brings out the rest of their outfit, and it really gives them that really shocking look that they're going for. Then there are those who take corseting as almost a sport. They take it to extremes because of the shock value. It's an art form to them. It would be the equivalent of somebody having many piercings, tattoos, changing the color of their hair, anything like that. It is a form of expression to them. Next, I'm going to address the physical feeling of being in a corset. One of the reasons why I like corseting is because it feels like a constant tight hug around your middle, and it makes you feel warm, protected, and loved at all times. Other people, speaking of protection, feel that the corset is a form of protection, an actual piece of armor, because especially if your corset is made out of a lot of metal boning and made out of some sort of animal hide, it has a very similar structure as a piece of armor around your bodice. Then there are those who actually use the corset as a medical device. In the past, there was actually very little difference between a corset and a back brace, and many people use the corset when they have any sort of back strain, muscular problems, nerve problems. As long as it's a properly fitted corset, you can enjoy some support and some muscle relaxation with it, and also enjoy some good posture. Lastly, I'm going to address the emotional and psychological effects of wearing a corset. Many people, because of their slim figure and better posture, they experience a rise in confidence. Because they carry themselves in a different way, people will treat them with respect because they look like they have a lot of confidence and they feel more confidence in return. So it's sort of a positive feedback loop. There are some people who associate corsets strictly with lingerie and bedtime. This, of course, isn't the case for all corsets or all people out there, but some people do. Many females or males might use the corset to make themselves feel and look more attractive and more desirable to another person or just to themselves. People who are aroused by corsets or have a corset fetish should not be faulted for this. It's not freakish in any way because when you think about it, it makes sense. Only 60 years ago, the corset was an undergarment. It was a piece of lingerie that was seen only in private places. It would be the equivalent of in, another 50 or 60 years, girls would be running around in their bras and panties all day. Moreover, because of the rise in blood pressure in the lower torso, a corset wearer may be able to become aroused more easily, so some people can actually use this as an aid. So in conclusion, there are many people who corset for many different reasons. We're not all into shock value, we're not all interested in BDSM, and we're not all stuck in the old times. Most importantly, there is nothing wrong with our heads. Wearing a corset or liking corsets does not make you necessarily a pervert or have body dysmorphic disorder. It does not define our personalities in any way. I'm encouraging people who put down corseters to at least accept us for our form of expression. We have done our research. We don't delve into anything necessarily without researching it first. We are aware of the risks and we do take it into account. And the majority of us do corset responsibly. We're not forcing you to corset, but who knows? Maybe someday you just might like it. I'll talk to you next time, guys. Bye.